Moving on the sidelines of the G20 Summit in Rio, India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar met his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi. The two leaders reviewed the progress in the bilateral relations, particularly focusing on border issues. Here's more.
On the sidelines of the G20 Summit in Rio, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar met his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi. The leaders noted the progress in the recent disengagement in the India-China border areas. In a post on X, Dr. Jaishankar said, "We noted the progress in the recent disengagement in the India-China border areas and exchanged views on the next steps in our bilateral ties. Also discussed the global situation." The ministers recognized that the disengagement in the border areas had contributed to the maintenance of peace and tranquility. The discussions focused on the next steps in India-China relations. It was agreed that a meeting of the special representatives and of the Foreign Secretary Vice Minister mechanism will take place soon. Among the steps discussed were the resumption of the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra pilgrimage, data sharing on trans-border rivers, direct flights between India and China, and media exchanges. On the global situation and international issues, Dr. Jaishankar noted that India and China have both differences and convergences. Dr. Jaishankar highlighted constructive cooperation between India and China in BRICS, SCO and G20. He emphasized commitment to a multipolar world, including a multipolar Asia. Dr. Jaishankar added that India does not view its relationships through the prism of other nations. China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi agreed with Dr. Jaishankar and noted that the leaders had agreed in Kazan on the way forward. The two ministers felt that it was imperative that the focus should be on stabilizing ties, managing differences, and taking the next steps. This meeting adds to a series of high-level interactions between the two nations' foreign ministers. Both leaders last met in Lao PDR on 25th July this year during the ASEAN-related foreign ministers' meetings. On 4th July, they held talks in Astana during a regional gathering. Last year, on 14th July, discussions took place between the two leaders on the sidelines of the ASEAN Regional Forum in Jakarta. In 2022, the two met during the G20 Foreign Ministers meeting in Bali on 7th July. In the same year, the leaders also met on 25th March when Wang Yi visited India and held direct discussions. On 14th July 2021, a meeting was held between the two leaders during the SCO Foreign Ministers meeting in Dushanbe. They also met on 10 September 2020 during the SCO Foreign Ministers meeting in Moscow. And on 17th June in the same year, the leaders spoke over the phone regarding developments in Ladakh. The latest meeting in Rio underscores continuing diplomatic efforts between India and China as both nations navigate border issues, broader bilateral ties, and global tensions. Bureau Report, DD India.